Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to our second Street Fighter League Roundup video of the week, which is the biggest week we've ever seen for competition in Street Fighter League. We've already shown you the last week of the regular season in the US, but now it is time to head over to Japan, arguably the strongest Street Fighter League we've ever seen. And the grand finals are incredible. 3 teams are still in the running. The Good 8 squad await in the grand finals as Saishunkan Seoul and Nagoya Oja Body Star Mildom fight it out in losers finals to get their place in the grand finals. There's some incredible talent that are in these 3 teams and some even bigger names that didn't make it, really highlighting the quality that is here in Street Fighter League Pro Japan. It's going to be difficult to see any team beating Japan at the World Finals, but we need to find out which team it's going to be representing Japan at those World Championships at Capcom Cup 9. So let's get straight into the action, this bumper Grand Finals episode of the Street Fighter League Roundup Show. Following on from the spectacle of the playoffs, the grand finals of Street Fighter League Pro Japan attracted thousands of in-person spectators to see the action go down, as 3 teams were still in the running. Only one would be representing Japan at the World Championships at Capcom Cup 9. Awaiting in the grand finals were the Good 8 squad, who have maintained their #1 seed for almost the entirety of the regular season, and fighting it out in the losers final would be Saishunkan Seoul and Nagoya Oja Body Star Mildom. As to be expected from the pageantry of a Japanese esports event, there was of course presenters and even backstage footage, making it feel like a wrestling event. Both team squads emerged from their changing rooms and were ready to do battle. And as team captain Daigo emerged on stage through the pyrotechnics, it really was a spectacle to behold. Nagoya Oja Body Star Mildom were the away team to start off with in this first to 70 points race. Daigo opening up with Guile, Akira in second with Kami, and Fudo in the anchor role with Poison. As we got into our very first match of this grand finals showcase, it would be YHC Mochi who would be facing Daigo, rekindling their over a decade-old rivalry here in Street Fighter V. It was Daigo who opened up with confidence, and he closed out a clean 2-0 victory to put Nagoya Oja Body Star Mildom in the lead with the first 10 points of the finals. Saishunkan Seoul would have to go back to the drawing board, and they plotted and schemed to put forward Nemo to face Akira in game number 2. This season, Nemo has bounced between Gil and Urien, and he picked Gil to face Akira's Kami this time round. Nemo was looking incredibly comfortable, landing this huge corner combo to give him a commanding lead. He was able to edge in and land this crouching medium punch and convert it into the kill to give him the first game. Making the most of this offline environment, Akira went back to speak to his teammates to try and come up with an alternative strategy. And it seemed to work right away, as 2 straight rounds earned him the tie 1-1, and we're going into a game number 3. 4 rounds back to back earned Akira the win and put Mildom into a 20-point lead. The delayed throw tech getting caught by the neutral jump, which means we were going into our first anchor match with Nagoya Oja Body Star Mildom in a commanding lead, and Fudo, one of the most consistent players of the season so far. But one of the breakout players has definitely been Shuto with his ever dangerous Urien. In game 1, with a large life lead, Fudo caught Shuto overextending with this cross-up and managed to convert into the kill, taking the first game.
Light kick, that is good. Night with the ball, the B trigger 2, you're through.
Shuto looking for the same thing in game number 2, but Poison definitely has better anti-air options, and Fudo was able to snuff that out and take the win to push him 2-0 into the lead. Shuto has managed to maintain his composure all throughout the tournament though, and this Aegis combo in the corner landing the stun, he had all of the bars he needed to convert the stun combo into a critical art for the kill, and he kept himself in the hunt. That first win for Shuto definitely pleased some of his fans in attendance today. But that happiness was short-lived as Fudo managed to convert the pressure from the EX Heart Raid into the kill and take a 3-1 win to give Nagoya Oja Body Star Mildom a 40-point lead in this first set. Now, to remind you, this is a race to 70 points, and now Saishun Kansol would have to also be on the away side, which meant they were prone to being counterpicked. Only 30 points needed now for Nagoya Oja Body Star Mildom to advance to the grand finals. We had Nemo with Urien first up, Higuchi, who we didn't see at all in the first set, with Guile, and Shuto once again in the anchor role with Urien as YHC Mochi waits on the bench. Fudo was straight back on after his big victory in the anchor role, and he would be facing Nemo. This one went down to the last game, last round, and despite Nemo desperately needing points for his team, the critical art was baited, and Fudo gladly took the win to make it 50 points to 0 for Nagoya Oja Body Star Mildom. In our second game of the second set, Akira was up with Kami, and Higuchi made his first appearance here in the grand finals with Guile. All the pressure was on him as his team were 50 points behind, but he maintained his composure and closed out this beautiful jump back into a conversion, max range CA, and took the 10 points, the first points for Saishun Kansol on the board. Moving into the anchor match with 20 points on the line, Shuto was defending his team's life. Daigo would step up with Guile, and the 20 points would be enough for Nagoya Oja Body Star Mildom to close out the set. Despite having a commanding life lead, Daigo was fighting out of the corner, and that is where Shuto shines. The Aegis pressure converted into the kill, and he took the first game. Daigo unable to land the sweep, and Shuto gladly took the punish and the perfect in the first round of game number 2, and he was flowing. Everything seemed to be going right, and the jump in was timed to perfection. Shuto closing out the round and taking himself into a 2-0 lead. Once again, Daigo had the life lead, but there were 2 mirrors on the screen, and that was too much. Shuto closed out a 3-0 win, a huge victory for Saishun Kansol, keeping them in the hunt and stopping Nagoya Oja Body Star Mildom from closing out the set, which means we're going into another set, and Nagoya Oja Body Star Mildom would be the away team once again. They put forward a lineup which saw Daigo leading off, Akira once again with Kami, and Fudo in the anchor role, exactly the same as that first set. And again, YHC Mochi stepped up to face Daigo. 10 points on the line, so this one would not determine the set. This one went down to the last game, last round, but it was YHC Mochi who was able to do the business. Daigo looking for the jump in, but he was sniped out of the air, and Saishun Kansol was starting to believe they could bring it back. Higuchi was up next to face Akira, and the momentum had fully turned round by now. Higuchi landed the punish on this high dive kick that gave him the commanding lead in the last game, last round. Akira answered back with a critical art of his own, and then followed up with the meaty dive kick to continue pressure, but he put the brakes on, the EX flash kick came out, and Akira was the one who closed out with the KO to take the set, which meant that Shuto and Fudo would be playing in the anchor game, and once again it was a must-win match, otherwise Saishun Kansol would be eliminated. Fudo started with good form, closing out the first game and taking the lead, and he put Shuto on the back foot, but that's where he thrives. Once again, the mirror's out and Fudo gets caught low. 1 bar is all Shuto needs to cash out and level it up 1 apiece. With a huge life lead, Shuto was showing that he was still willing to attack, and he lands the jump in over the top of the recovery of the Crouch Fierce. So we were going to a 5th and final game to decide the fate of Saishun Kansol. This beautiful Aegis sequence though closed out the set as Fudo refused to V-shift, and he gets the critical art to close out an incredible comeback from 50 points down. Saishun Kansol are now level at 60 apiece. And so we would go into one more final tie-breaking set, and we will see Shuto going up against Daigo. An incredible clash. Shuto has been so consistent. The young player has really come into his own over the last couple of years. Daigo, of course, has been an incredible force in Street Fighter for decades. This is what Street Fighter League is all about. Shuto took the early lead, Daigo letting rip with the EX flash kick, and this stun combo beautiful enough to close out the first game. Shuto once again at set point, and he had Daigo in the corner. The reflector was out. This time the overhead was blocked, and Shuto interrupted Daigo with the jab. An incredibly smart read, and he closed out the set.
Fight desperately. Gets a light into the EX connect side shoot console. Taking down the Goyo Oja, Body Star Militon, and moving on to the grand finals.
You can hear everyone erupting as Saishunkan Soul made an unbelievable comeback to earn their spot in the grand finals.
That could have gone the other way.
Back after the break, and the SFL Pro Japan trophy was unveiled, that beautiful gold Ryu, as we awaited the Good 8 squad to face Saishunkan Soul in the grand final. The Good 8 squad were looking in high spirits as they came out from backstage, and team captain Gacha-kun emerged through the smoke, ready to bring some smoke of his own. As the lower seed, Saishunkan Soul would start on the away side, and they put forward a lineup that saw YHC Mochi leading off with Dalsim, Higuchi with Guile, and Shuto once again in that anchor role with Yuri and Nemo on the bench. Confident to start things off on the right foot, Gacha-kun, team captain, would be going forwards in the first game to face YHC Mochi in a favourable matchup for Rashid. But YHC Mochi didn't really care about the matchup chart. He got the stun and the kill to earn the first win in the grand finals, putting him 1-0 up. Gacha-kun had to go back to his team and back to the drawing board to try and put together a different strategy. And it seemed like whatever his teammates said to him was absolutely perfect advice as he closed out the first round of the next game, golden letters on the screen. Gacha-kun chased down the V-shift and was able to get the stun and bring it back. It's 1-1 and we're going to a third game. But not to be counted out, YHC Mochi didn't care about the momentum. He kept his calm, and in the final round, he managed to close out for the first win for Saishunkan Soul. 10 points on the board in an unfavorable matchup is a great start for Saishunkan Soul, who must be riding high as the momentum is truly with them. The Good 8 squad were really making the most of their home field advantage. Another counter pick saw Pugera with Boxer going up against Higuchi's Guile. Pugera lets off the EX straight at the right time and closes out game number 1 to take the early lead. That V-Trigger 2 causing all of the stun. Pugera making the most of that V-Trigger 2 command grab, and he closed out a big 2-0 win to keep Good 8 squad level at 10-10. With Shuto awaiting in the anchor role, it would come down to Kawano to face him with his new Luke. Shuto, a master of corner pressure, was able to land the throw and take the first game. Kawano successfully baiting out the jump in from Shuto, and he closes out game number 2 with the anti-air 1-1. Despite Shuto landing the critical art to look to bring it back, the V-trigger activation was all Kawano needed to take a 2-1 lead. Kawano went on to close out the set 3-1 with the perfect calculation, the exact damage he needed to get the win and push Good 8 squad 30 points to 10 into the lead. The side switched, and with Good 8 squad on the away side, it would be Dogura that would be playing first with M. Bison, Gacha-kun with Rashid, and in the anchor role, Pugera with the Boxer as Kawano's Luke waited on the sidelines. YHC Mochi absolutely not afraid of the matchup chart, and he went into another bad match against Dogura's M. Bison. Smelling out the V-trigger activation attempt, Mochi took the first game with this neutral jump. In game number 2, Dogura turned it round, and this huge life lead was all he needed. The patience was there, and this light kick closed out the game to bring him level. Despite being set point up, Dogura was well behind in this round. YHC Mochi working on a perfect, but we had one of the most incredible comebacks I've ever seen in Street Fighter V.
Knocked out, gets a command grab again, leading.
Oh!
Side switch. No, throw. He gets a side switch now.
for that right time.
The V-shift was baited out and the punish was there. Dogura makes an unbelievable comeback and pushes the Good 8 squad into the lead 40-10. Once again, Saishun and Seoul were well behind and it was on Higuchi to step forward. He would be facing Gachikun's Rashid. Gachikun landed the critical art to give him the big life lead and he maintained his patience. The crouching light kick check took the first game. But Higuchi brought it all the way back and the stun combo into the critical art gave him the 2-1 victory and kept Saishun Console in the running. This took a lot of the pressure off of Shuto, who would not be playing to defend his team's life here in the grand finals. He was going up against Pugera in a real slugfest. Shuto was ready for the dash straight, but not the EX dash low, and Pugera took the first game. Somehow the V-skill combo didn't kill, and that left the opening for Shuto. The knockdown into the medium punch was converted into the critical art, and that gave Shuto the round and the second game. Once again, the counter hit is converted, and it's again the critical art that closes out the game for Shuto. He pulls into a 2-1 lead. In game 4, Pugera catches Shuto reaching, and the stun combo is enough to get the kill. We're going to a 5th and final game. Pugera playing with his food in the corner, but he does get the throw and takes the 3-2 victory to put Good 8 squad 1 win away from victory here in the grand finals. Everyone in the audience joining Dogura in recognizing how godlike Pugera's been so far this season. After that game, it meant we were going into another set, and Saishun and Seoul not only were on the away side, but they could not afford to lose a single game. Higuchi was up first with Guile, and he's going to be facing Dogura. A lot of these young players have been showing experience way beyond their years, and Higuchi is no stranger to competition. Higuchi managed to land the counter hit upside down kick, and that was all he needed. A 2-0 win, and he keeps Saishun and Seoul in the running. 1 set game defended, and now it would be Nemo who's fighting for his team's life. But he would be facing Pugera, who's been oh so impressive all season, especially in these grand finals. Once again, Pugera playing with his food. He punished this poorly spaced tackle, but not into a combo. Nemo took the chance and pushed on with the pressure in the corner, but Pugera maintained his cool.
Oh, it's gone, but that's it. Good 8 squad is going to take it and be your champions of Street Fighter League Japan. Pugera.
And interrupted to close out not only the round, not only the game, not only the set, but all of Street Fighter League Japan, as Good 8 squad are your champions. An incredible season of consistency sees them pick up not only 5 million yen in prize support, but also this incredible Golden Ryu Street Fighter League Pro Japan trophy. The Good 8 squad will be representing Japan at the World Championship at Capcom Cup 9, and I cannot wait to see which teams will be joining them. And there you have it. It's proven that consistency is key, and the Good 8 squad, who have been top of the leaderboard for almost the entirety of the regular season, coasting to that #1 seed in the playoffs, also earned their spot at the World Championships. And Gachikun and his squad of killers are going to be heading out to Los Angeles to compete for that world title. I cannot wait for Capcom Cup 9. What an incredible showcase that's going to be. Street Fighter League action has never been more exciting than this. And don't forget, we've still got a 3rd video to drop this week as we run down the action from the EU Grand Final. Mouse Sports versus BMS, UK versus France, Problem X versus Mr. Crimson. It's all on the line. Look out for that one later this week.